Hello, Sunday the 27th of October 2019, and on things cracking on. We're getting very close to Mercury retrograde now. It actually starts on the 31st of October, but let me see, today, Sunday the 27th, is the day that the pre-shadow to Mercury retrograde becomes more intensified. Also, we're going to have Moon in Scorpio later today, 2029 UK time. Now, our clocks went back an hour last night, and I believe in the States and Canada that isn't actually until next week. So I'm not totally sure, but I'll only be an hour wrong either way. Okay, so I reckon that's got to be round about midday on the west side, and on the east side 3 hours after that, about 3:30 in the afternoon, possibly even 4:30, possibly even 2:30. Sorry, that's kind of vague, isn't it? But definitely later on today, wherever you are in the world, including UK here, the moon is going to enter Scorpio, and we'll get a little taster of what is to come in Mercury retrograde with that, because Mercury retrograde this time around is in Scorpio, and is actually going to end in Scorpio as well, so it's kind of a Scorpio experience. And this means that Mercury's transit through Scorpio is a little bit longer. It's actually, I believe it's December, it says here December the 7th, but I just read a book that says December the 9th is actually the very last day of the Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. So Scorpions, I don't know that you're necessarily going to be in for a rougher ride than anybody else. You know, these influences affect everybody as we go along. But it's certainly a Scorpio day coming up. The moon is actually void of course at the moment. So if you're watching in the UK, we've got a void of course all day. It's not a time to do anything that's going to attract any new action. For example, my old friend, this piano here, is going off to a new home today. I do have another piano, you know, it's just how many pianos does a man need? Absolutely none really, but I've got one that I'm very fond of because it was my mother's. So right, rabbiting on there, but yeah, I'm moving this, but I'm not actually going to put anything else in this space until tomorrow. I think that's quite a good way of doing things, and perhaps a good way of looking at the best way to tackle today, Sunday the 27th of October, because it is a void of course all the way through, and taking that rest from actually continually evolving things and doing new things gives us a chance to go over the past a little bit, sort out whatever needs to be sorted out there. There is a new moon coming in today in the States and Canada. It's actually not coming in until tomorrow UK time. It's going to be 3:38 AM UK time, and our clocks have gone back, but it does take that into account as far as I can tell. Okay, so let's take a look at what else is happening today. The moon, as I speak, is 2.4% full, very close to new moon now, obviously, and that won't be too long. Sun is opposite Uranus still. That's been the case for a little while. Means, you know, upsets, sudden changes, radical events could quite easily happen. Meetings, confrontations actually, but certainly clearing the air. Yeah, that's quite an important thing to be able to do. And anything that comes into being at this time is very likely to kind of challenge the status quo, make things difficult. So as I was saying, the moon is void on her way into Scorpio, and that means she's void in Libra. Just, you know, as I was saying, really leave things on hold for a while, not for too long. Pretty soon we'll get into that Scorpio moon. And quite honestly, you know, it's not the easiest sign for the moon to be in by a long way, but it really does clear the air once you've gone through this stuff. So all looking pretty positive, I should say. The one thing that is, I'm not going to say it's negative, but it's certainly tricky, is Mercury void in Scorpio, because, you know, it's on its way in the next few days. It's going to enter Scorpio, but it's void in Scorpio now, and you know, high winds blow through things. I was saying this yesterday, but don't worry about this, guys, okay? High winds blow the leaves away, and it's no bad thing because it gives you a chance to just get yourself all sorted out and organised before the winter comes in. I'm clearing out outside my house today. It's one of my void of course things that I like to do, clear up outside, and it's going to be cold, but not half as cold as if I leave it until January. And who wants to be, you know, someone who leaves all that kind of stuff till January? Right, now then, let's take a look at what's going on next week, because it is Sunday. Let's have a bit of a review of what's coming up. I've already said about Mercury retrograde on its way in now, and because we're in the pre-shadow phase intensified, we may notice troubles around communications. Electrical items break quite easily. Well, that's a fact anyway, isn't it? But they're more likely to break quite easily at this time. Anything to do with communication, so kind of cameras, phones, that kind of thing. Reach out and touch a bit of wood there. Up here even, because you know, piano wood's got something sacred about it, I think anyway. We've got a Sagittarius moon coming in on Tuesday, pretty much, well, in the States and Canada and UK, because it's 21:58, 2 minutes to 10 UK time on Tuesday. We get the Sagittarius moon. Things kind of get a bit more out there then. Grand plans are sort of in the air, shall we say. Maybe slightly different because of the Mercury retrograde thing, but the plans will be grand, whatever's going on. It's a generous time, it's quite optimistic as well, but the Sagittarian influence can make people spring back from things that they were going to do. It's the way it goes. It really is. Okay, so what else have we got next week? It says in my book here, which is, let me show you, it's only fair to show you the book. It's quite a good book, even though I threw it across the room last week. It is Llewellyn's 2019 Daily Planetary Guide. There it is. It's, you know, it's a bit late in the year to be buying this one, but if you're looking for a guide for next year, this is pretty good. The way they do it, you get one set of the USA Times in dark, in bold type, and the other set in lighter type, so you can kind of tell what's going on in your part of the States and Canada, and I can like add 8 hours onto it or 5 hours onto it, and I know roughly where I stand here. So in this book, it is telling me that, Mercury, blah, blah, blah. But there is, right, on Wednesday, October the 30th, just the day before Mercury retrograde station, when Mercury stands still and then starts going backwards, as we view it from Earth. Mercury and Venus conjunct one another. Can be tricky, but actually it tends to be really positive around things to do with money, because it's a great time for buying and selling. So look out for that on Wednesday. Looking pretty good. The rest of the big news this week is Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, and it says down here somewhere there's something else happening. What is it? Venus, Friday, November the 1st, which is All Saints Day in the States and Canada. It's All Saints Day here now. We had Halloween last night, All Souls, and today it's All Saints, when we remember people who've gone before us, on whose shoulders we stand as we go forward to learn more and more on our spiritual journey. So really positive there. Anyway, All Saints Day is on Friday in the States and Canada. Venus leaves Scorpio, and we're going to get Venus in Sagittarius then. Optimism, confidence in relationships, and confidence in finance as well. Something of a desire to take risks though, and I suspect that Mercury being then very much retrograde in Scorpio, people will be taking risks that day. Kind of tricky. And then you guys have the end of your daylight saving time, 2 AM local time, it says on Sunday, November the 3rd. Of course, if you're in UK and you haven't put your clocks back yet, please do. They went back 1 hour at 2 AM UK today. UK time last night. And I woke up at 20 to 3 this morning, so I'm a bit knackered already. I've had quite a full day. No problem moving pianos though, because that's going to clear my space. And clearing things is a really good thing to do in the next 2 or 3 days, I would say, is really good for it. It's always good to have a clear out. It's always good to be as clear as you can, because that's how the goodness comes in. That's how we avoid blocking out what we really need to have happening in our lives. Okay guys, happy Sunday to you. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, tap the bell so you don't miss anything, because goodness knows you don't want to miss anything. And I'll be back again real soon. By the way, thank you everyone who leaves comments. I really appreciate it, you know, to be able to share the journey with you guys. I don't always reply because the internet tends to cut out here as we go on through the day. That's why I try and do everything as early as I can in UK time. Anyway, yeah, have a fantastic Sunday, the 27th of October, and have a great week ahead as well. It's not going to be too bad, you know, people worry about Mercury retrograde, but if we find a clever way of dodging the lessons of Mercury retrograde, we will get those lessons again every time. So, you know, if you fear Mercury retrograde because it's really shaken you up in the past, it's very unlikely to shake you up like that again. You know, you only need to learn a thing once as long as you can remember it. That's the bottom line. Okay, happy Sunday. Peace. Goodbye.